Hi everyone, this is Drusilla from General Bead. Today I'm going to show you how to make a bead into a pendant or a drop, so you could like hang it from a necklace or make a pair of earrings out of it. So here I have some really cool like sun A bead beads that I want to turn into a pair of earrings. But how do I get it onto the ear wire? So what you need is this thing called a head pin. So a head pin is a little piece of metal that has a pin at the end. So that when I put it on the bead, it's not going to just slide off it. So I would put the bead onto the head pin. It just stops. So after that, you want to make a loop. So to do that, I usually just bend the wire by hand. Some beads or drops may be too delicate for this, and they might chip. So be careful. But this one's a pretty sturdy bead. So I'm just going to bend the wire by hand, make a 90-degree angle with the bead. Then I take what's called a pair of round nose pliers. These pliers they have a round nose. It's round all the way, so you can make loops and stuff like that with it. So take a pair of round nose pliers. You can use other pliers for this. Just won't be as round. It'd be more angular when you finish. So I take a pair of round nose pliers and grip the end of the head pin that I've bent with them. Then I take the end of the head pin and like wrap it around the plier like that. See, it's starting to loop there. And then I remove the pliers and grab it with the other end. I was like this initially, so I'm switching which half of the pliers the head pin is being wrapped around. So I grab the loop with the bottom part of the roundness pliers, and I take the wire and I push it over the bead and then push it up again to complete the loop. So at this point, you can either cut the end of the wire, which is usually what I do, the end of it. Since I am going to turn this into a pair of earrings, I don't need it to open and close. So another thing you could do is just start wrapping the wire around the loop to make it a little more secure. So to do that, you can take your round nose pliers, or you can use a pair of flat nose pliers. It doesn't really matter. You grab the loop with them, and then I do this by hand, so I just start wrapping the wire under the head pin around underneath the loop, so it starts coiling. And you don't need to do it so many times. And usually it's a little loose here, so I can like take a pair of pliers and tighten it if I wanted to. Anyway, after that, just cut off the excess with a pair of wire cutters. Then I take my ear wire, open it up, grabbing the loop and twisting it, and then I loop my now pendant over it. You close it up, and there's an earring. That's a pretty quick process. I made this loop. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. I use like the back end of the roundness pliers, so the loop is on the bigger side. If you want smaller ones, just move towards the tip. There's also graduated ones you can get to make different sizes of loops. Let's do with the other bead too. So I take the head pin through the bead. It spins around too. Bend it. The round nose plier. Let's make a smaller one this time, why not? If you wanted more room to coil, you would just grab the wire higher up. Right there, so you could loop it a couple more times. See, there's like a gap. I grabbed it pretty close. Didn't really want a bunch of coils, but some people like that. So you wrap it around this plier. Then you switch how you're gripping it. Then fold the wire over, complete the loop, and you can also twist it a little to make the loop more over the bead, I guess you could say, more centered. Then after that, if you want, either you can cut it a lot higher up and twist it. Actually, let's do that this time. Let's see how it looks like when I just cut it and twist it a little better. So I'm going to cut the wire pretty close to pretty high up. That. You can get it in focus. There. And then I'm going to grab the loop and just twist it more close. It's more circular. Twist it that way. Straighten it out. Twist it some more. That. And I could have cut this more so I could open and close it if I wanted to. See how it's like overlapped a little bit. So I could have cut it further up so I could open it better. And you can still do that now. You can still cut it pretty close if you wanted to. So after cutting it, again, you just take the ear wire, open it up. Most ear wires are going to be able to open and close. I haven't seen one where you couldn't do that. So it's not necessary for the loop you made in the bead to open and close. You loop it over the end of the ear wire and close it. And a pair of earrings. They don't match perfectly because I did 2 different methods, but who's gonna know except for me? You guys. So that's how you make a pair of earrings out of a bead. You could also use this to make like a beaded, like put beads onto a chain, like dangle them off a chain, or to make a pendant or something. If it's a vertically drilled object, not like drilled through the face to make a pendant. So, what happens if the hole in the bead is too big? Like these little dudes, like these cat beads. They have a pretty big hole. These are handmade. So the hole, when people make beads, they put it onto like a metal rod. That's where the hole would, and they work glass around that rod. So whoever made these beads made the hole really big. If I try to use a head pin, head pins have a pretty standard size, usually like 2 millimeters. If I try to use a head pin, it's gonna fall off. So how do I fix that? The answer is more beads. So here I have some beads that are bigger than the hole in the bead I want to turn to a pair of earrings. So I put this bead, and it has a smaller hole too, so when I put it on the head pin, it's not gonna fall off. So I put this like base bead on the head pin. Then I put the bead that I want to turn to a pair of earrings onto here. Look, it's got sort of like a collar for this thing, I guess. You could use a smaller bead that's less noticeable. You could use a flatter bead that's less noticeable. Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. So the point being that use a smaller bead so that your bead with a big hole does not fall off the head pin. And then I do the same thing I did with the sun beads. I just bend the ear wire, and I'm using it, and like if I don't want to bend it over like the ears of this thing, so it's going to be hard to get the pliers there. So I choose a spot to bend it over where I can fit the pliers into. And then I grab the end of the head pin and make my little loop again. Let's twist it a couple of times. So I twisted a couple of times, make a little coil. I'm going to cut the coil off. And you see there's like a little piece of wire sticking out. You can use a pair of pliers to like push that in a little bit carefully, like push it. Round nose pliers are not ideal for the task. I'm going to use a pair of J nose pliers. Flat. Yeah, so it looks a little more finished. It's not sticking out. And then same thing for the... Ooh, where you going, buddy? For the other one. Things are so weird. I have another bead I'm going to put on the head pin first, so this green animal doesn't fall off. I also spin. And then I'm making a loop with the head pin after putting it in. I made the loop a little crooked. To fix that, I would take a pair of flat nose pliers and just grab the whole thing and like kind of bend it back. So it's more straight now. And head pins are a dime a dozen. So if you break one, or if you break it by bending it way too many times, or you like cut it too short, just use another one. So yeah, finish making the loop by twisting it around a couple times or cutting it or whatever. And cut that short. And so the loop is a little wonky on this. So I just take a pair of needle nose pliers and just grab the whole thing and just squish it. Squish it into a more uniform shape. Don't over squish because you can, like I said, their head pins are usually made out of pretty thin wire. It's usually 20 gauge, 22 gauge, 24 gauge. You get 26 or 28 gauge too. Those are extremely thin, but still like kind of thin wire. So you don't want to work it too much because you might just break it by accident. But you can just grab another one. Anyway, so here's this animal with the loop on its head now, and I'm open to turn into a pair of earrings. Get your ear wire, open it, and I just use round nose pliers for that. They can open and close stuff as well. And close it. Open this one. Sling the animal over it. The bead. There you go, another pair of earrings using a big hole bead. I'm gonna be doing some more technique videos. So if you're interested in stuff like this, just subscribe to our channel and you'll get updates when I post a new video. Thanks, bye.